And the winner for Best Podcast turned into a major motion picture is... The Oscar goes to Whiskey Business. Oh!
You're going to say La La Land.
It's our Oscar podcast with Hope Madden and George Wolf tonight on Whiskey Business. Hello, everybody. I'm Dean Archipotis, and welcome to Whiskey Business, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey, he said in a dramatic fashion.
He did it very
yes,
well.
Because it's time for our annual Oscar podcast. How many now? I've lost track.
We have two.
Yeah.
All I can say is that it seemed like it's come quickly. It seems like just like months ago we were talking about it. You know, everything, always, never, and again.
Yeah.
Isn't that how it works, though?
Yeah.
You know exactly what the Oscar-winning picture is, and then like a month later, what
was it?
What won the Academy Award?
Which one exactly?
What was that? And on this particular edition, I will admit right out of the gate, this one I will be more educated than opinionated because I have not had time to see a lot of what is nominated and to see some of the more exceptional performances. But I always am educated when you guys are on the Oscar podcast. Yes. John Whitney, who is over on this side, not on camera, is on camera because he took it upon himself to.
I tried.
You crammed.
I did.
Crammed.
I say I've seen 8.5 of the 10.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's pretty good. I also want to say before we start, I just wanted to say we found out, at least as far as the recording of this podcast, that this man, Richard Lewis, passed away. I had the pleasure of working with Richard Lewis, interviewing Richard Lewis at the radio station, working with him a couple of times. He gave me this book. He signed it, and it's and said some nice things. I was actually working, doing comedy at the time, and then when we did radio, he would said, "You're doing radio," and he said to Dino, "All the best, bro. You are one talented, great guy, Richard Lewis." I mean, what's he gonna write? To Dino,
right, yeah, right,
to Dino, you really suck, and and you need to work on that act. No, he's gonna write. He's gonna write something nice. But
Yeah, I was sorry to hear that.
I've loved him through the years.
Very funny.
He was funny.
To Richard
He was
Lewis.
funny.
yes.
As a comic, and television and films too.
Richard
I mean,
Lewis.
Leaving Las Vegas.
Pepsi.
He was in Leaving Las Vegas.
Yep.
A little departure there.
Actually, I haven't touched that.
Robin
You
Hood,
won't have
Men
that
in
much,
Tights. I mean, there's
And I didn't realize he had been battling Parkinson's.
Parkinson's
I guess.
disease,
I did not know that.
Yeah, ultimately he passed of a heart attack, but yeah, he's been fighting Parkinson's disease, and I think he just managed to crank out this last season to Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So to Richard Lewis,
Richard Lewis.
Here, here.
God bless, God bless.
Go Buckeyes.
Yes, Ohio State alum. Richard
Ohio
Lewis.
State
Yep.
alum, big time.
Yeah.
Which brings us back
Yes.
full circle. Thank you, Chip, for our guest bottle this evening. The Benchmark
You're welcome.
Bonded. Okay. Bonded Benchmark. Anything you get from Benchmark, you'll. I've said this before. You'll see it on the bottom shelf.
Yeah.
But do not be deceived by that. This is what we call a bottom shelf beauty, and this is definitely higher end Benchmark.
I think the secret's getting out.
It is. It's definitely getting out.
This
Bottle
is
of-
Buffalo Trace product.
While we're talking bottles, I have to say we bring salutations from Pat and Martin at Bua.
yeah.
That's our.
I'm sorry. Who?
That's our neighborhood bar,
That's
and we
right.
taled to them about the experience, and they had good things to say.
Thank
That
you.
was
They were fun.
that was a 2-hour plus podcast.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It went on a little bit.
It went on a little bit. Yeah, they brought over their products, and we had fun. And Martin just is. I mean, Pat too. I mean, they both went out after
Yeah, that's
the
what I said.
podcast and
You
tried
didn't go
to
out with him?
No, no, because I did that last time, and I talked about that on the podcast. I went out with Martin, and we ended up at O'Reilly's till
Oh,
2:30
my.
in the morning,
Oh,
and
my.
then he was going to get an Uber from my house, so we drove back to my house. Now it's 3:00 in the morning, and then he decides that one more lad. And, we have one more. And that's when the show started at 5 in the morning at
Oh,
Sunny
no.
95. So I literally laid down for maybe 40 minutes before I had to get back up. And
He's
start
a
the day.
professional.
He is a professional.
Not that night. I don't think either one of us were, but yeah, he is. It was a great podcast. So thank you for the salutations. That is currently running as we speak. Go Bua or Go Home, I believe is the name.
Yes, that's what
this
it's
one.
called.
And I already got the name for this particular podcast. It just kind of wrote itself, really.
Yeah.
It's kind of cheesy, but I'm going to use it. Yeah. OSCAR-HEIMER.
I do it.
Well done.
OSCAR-HEIMER. Yeah, because that's probably going to be in the mix as we start talking about the Oscars. First of all, let me ask you this.
Well,
all three of you.
We should probably do our the business first.
You always forget about the
I know
business.
you do. You get all excited.
Really
You always
about
forget.
The business.
I know
care
you don't.
About this part of it. Do the business.
Whiskey Business is the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey.
There you go. Where can you find us, boys?
Find us on your favorite podcasting app. Rate and subscribe and review.
See, this is why I don't like to do the business.
We give them the shot.
It's been 230 some
I'll
episodes.
get it one day.
And still.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Whiskey Business
Yes.
with Dino Tripodis. Smash that subscribe button.
Smash it.
Hit that little bell. Ding, 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 ding. You'll get notifications every time. We got that part down.
Yeah, I got that down, man.
Because that's the part you like. Because you get to be all animated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
EvergreenPodcastNetwork.com.
Thank you, Evergreen.
I don't have a sound effect for that one.
Yeah.
That's probably for the best.
probably
And word of mouth. We always say spread
the
disease.
That's what we say. Spread. Spread. And since we're mentioning podcasts, you should listen to the Screening Room podcast.
Yes, Screening Room podcast and Fright Club
podcast and
Edith Keeler's Bar and Edge of Forever Bar and Grill.
there you go. The Star Trek podcast.
Yay.
Which I apologize. I was a guest on their podcast. It was a great podcast. We had fun, but they are tighter and briefer in their podcast.
It's like 35 minutes.
Yeah, they found that to be the sweet spot, and we went closer to 50.
Yeah.
Consequently, it's the least watched
But it's one of the more enjoyable ones.
of the bunch. People won't commit for another 20 freaking minutes.
Well,
Anyway, I knew it would go long because there was three of us, but it's great. Check all of them out, and of course, if you're watching this one, you already are. Okay, now let me ask you overall. From one year to the next, do you do that? Do you compare a crop of films and say this year was better than last year, or last year was better than this year?
Yeah.
So let's start with that initial question. This year, better or worse than last year?
Well, I have to say the one thing that strikes me about this year is it's so top heavy. Almost all the categories they're all so good. All the nominees are so good. We're just like any of them could win, and all of them are worthy. So by that measure, I think this year is better because I don't think last year was quite that way, at least for us. But all the categories are just stacked.
Yeah, no, I think that it was a stronger crop of films also this year. And the big blockbusters, and also the, like independent films. I feel like there were some great movies last year, but I feel like there was a bigger volume of great movies this year, And also, if you haven't seen it, Godzilla -1, everyone watch
was
it.
awesome. That was
Watch
awesome.
it immediately.
Yeah. So great.
Can I tell you a funny story about Godzilla -1?
Yes.
We made a film called -1 about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And now, and John told me that you got some money coming to you next quarter from -1. I go, really? Because it's streaming. It's back out there streaming again. But apparently when people thought they were ordering Godzilla -1,
I bet they were pissed.
They ordered our film and paid for it. It's a good movie. There's just
Where's the lizard?
There's
It
just
ain't
a
Godzilla.
giant fire spewing monster in it that I'm aware of.
Maybe in the sequel.
That's right.
So
That's funny. Well,
got
cheers to that.
we got like $600 coming to us.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Godzilla. Oh my gosh. So let's get to it, shall we?
Yes.
What are we going over?
Well, I've always limited the categories, but everybody in this room, I hate to leave it out. I'm going to go with screenplays, both adapted and original, then supporting, female actor and male actor, then director, and then of course picture before it's all said.
You're
Yeah.
going to skip the leads?
No, he said, well,
I meant supporting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to skip the leads.
Gotcha.
You know what? They don't
Bury
have
the
anything to
leads.
do with the
Yeah,
film
bury the leads.
whatsoever. What are they? Well, they're not important. Of course, everybody. But like I said, we're all writers, so I can't ignore the.
That's good, yeah.
The adapted.
Oh yeah, we always say it starts with the writing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Starts with the writing.
starts with the written word. So adapted screenplay. You got Cord Jefferson for American Fiction, which I think he actually wrote the book as well and adapted it. Did
I
he
believe
not?
so.
Adapted his own work to a screenplay.
I believe that is true.
Barbie, Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, awesome. Christopher Nolan did everything, and he wrote Oppenheimer. Poor Things, Tony McNamara, and Zone of Interest, Jonathan Glazer. Adapted screenplay. Now, some of these films I did see, I will tell you my vote right out of the gates because I think it's one of the few that they might win, even though they should have been nominated for more. I got to go with Barbie, Greta Gerwig, and Noah Baumbach.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think
Do you think that's going to win or should win?
No, both.
Okay.
yeah.
Both.
I think for us, it should be in the original screenplay. I mean, we're picking nits here, I guess, but
Yeah, based on a doll. Come
Yeah.
on, man, dude.
Yeah.
I know,
but
that's
that's-
why I say they'll get
yeah,
win
Yeah.
and should, and it's delightful.
delightful.
Yeah.
Really
It's,
fun
it's
movie.
an incredibly well written movie.
yeah.
It's an incredibly well directed movie. It's
Yes,
a
it
phenomenally well directed movie. And I think that it would have a better shot of winning if it were in the original screenplay category, because the adapted screenplay category I think is much tougher competition this year.
All of these are great. Again,
Interesting.
Just
So-
stacked.
So, all right. So, who in the adapted screenplay division are you think is going to win?
You know, I gotta.
I
I
like
think that Barbie has a good shot,
Yeah.
but I think I would go with American Fiction.
Yes,
I
so
think
that's
American
exactly what I
Fiction's
thought
gonna
too.
win.
Yeah, I think that too.
I think that's what I would vote for if I were voting. If I'm saying who's going to win, I'm probably going to say Oppenheimer.
You think so?
Oh,
I
wow.
don't think so.
I like it. There's
Yeah,
three
just-
on the board here. That's
I,
good.
I wouldn't, but I think so.
I thought American Fiction, though. I thought all the characters were written just beautifully, you know.
It was-
and I thought
it
the
was
story
fantastic.
was well constructed. It's just a great story.
And you know, also I got more respect for the Zone of Interest screenplay after I read a synopsis of the book, because the movie is so different from the book. What he was able to take from the book and craft his own screenplay, I got more respect for it after I read that.
So let me ask you something. Zone of Interest is an hour and 44-minute film. Was the script maybe like 20 pages long? Because there's not a lot going on.
Much more. If you read
I'm being a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah, no,
there was
but-
so much in the book, all these different
Yeah.
narratives, and that he totally
well,
discarded.
honestly, he didn't even get for a second into the plot of the book.
Not at all.
There's no part of the plot that's in this. It's really the setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I
That's
think
why
that
it's fascinating.
It's a funny idea. I think, to your point, that it's getting nominated for best screenplay, because the screenplay would essentially be a lot about, well, the directing choices. You know, pull back
Right.
so what we can
Yeah.
see beyond the garden. I mean, it's a brilliant movie, but most of the sort of choices cinematically are not really necessarily on the page.
yeah, it seems like more of a directorial tour de force
Yeah.
rather than a writing.
And Jonathan was also the director of this film.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
And he
Yeah.
did the
Yep.
screenplay as
Yep.
well. And you both said American Fiction, and as I said, I Cord Jefferson. That's interesting. I always find it interesting when people who have written a piece of fiction also translate it and do the screenplay. I always wonder if that's easier or more difficult. I would think it would be more difficult because you'd want to incorporate so much of your
Yeah.
book
I know.
Don't want
onto
to throw
the
the baby
page.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'd be
onto
hard
the
to
page.
distance yourself,
Yes,
probably.
I think
Yeah.
it would be incredibly hard to distance
Yeah, you
yourself.
would it's almost like you need an editor for your film. You
Yeah.
need someone to help you edit that screenplay. It would be tough, yeah.
So
but what a
he-
great screenplay.
He did that
Yeah.
by himself. Nobody helped him, or he didn't work with anybody in the adaptation of that.
I don't think
script.
anyone credited.
Yeah, he's the
anyone.
only one credited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so there's three on the table: Barbie, American Fiction, and Oppenheimer for adapted screenplay. Let's move on, shall we? I'll be curious to see what happens, because you guys are usually on the same page a lot of the time, and I love it when you differ.
There's another big one we differ on that we'll get to later. But
Yeah.
Original screenplay: Anatomy of a Fall. Help me hope with the Leslie Justine, her Trier.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah. Trier.
Trier.
Sorry.
And Arthur Harari. That's the original script. The Holdovers, David Hemmingson. Maestro, I hate him. I hate Bradley Cooper. He's so talented. He writes, he directs, he produces,
And
he
he's
acts.
handsome.
He's everything. Everything. Anyway, Bradley Cooper and Josh Singer. May December, Sammy Birch, and Past Lives, Celine. I always want to say Dion. Every time I see Celine, I want to say and she has a last name that sounds like Dion. It's Celine's song. All right, original screenplay. Go ahead. I went first last time. George, you go first this time.
That's boy. I'm gonna go out on a bit of a limb and say Anatomy of a Fall. It's a brilliant screenplay, and it's sort of about words. It's a lot about words and the meaning of words, and I thought it was really, really sharp. And all these are. I'm gonna go with Anatomy of a Fall.
I think it's going to be The Holdovers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think it's going to be Maestro.
Oh!
I enjoyed that one.
I did too. I'm a big fan of that movie. Yeah.
It's interesting. I'll have an opinion about Maestro later, but I wanted to see The Holdovers. It was one of the ones I saw most recently, and I don't think that influences my answer. But yes, The Holdovers as well for me, because how it felt and it was kind of not a whole lot to work with, honestly, and yet so much came out of it. I mean, the premise is pretty simple, and yet once you dig in to these characters, and we'll talk more about that later with the performances, because George gave me a little tidbit that I was not even aware of, which we'll share a little bit later on.
I think that's a good choice too, because I think there's just a lot of love out there for The Holdovers.
I do. I think so
People
too.
love the film, love the performances. I think there's a lot of love for it. So that's a good.
Okay, so wow, really, I'm with Hope. I think I should get points for that.
Is this going to be a record year for you two? Because you two usually agree, and
There's
you
a
come
third
so
one we
close.
disagree on as
I
well.
think the rest of them were-
but I think you might be right. That might be the
This
most.
might be the year
the
that
most
you
we've disagreed
totally
on. Yeah.
Wow,
diverge
I like
from
it.
each other.
I like it. I like
Conflict.
little
That's right.
conflict, little
I think
friction.
I think history has proven that I'm usually the one who's right.
Oh, okay.
You are a woman.
Is this where like that commercial? I can drop a red flag,
Yeah.
and we can go back and check
right.
the tape. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to do that.
The
think
secret of,
you
secret of a long marriage, right?
I just recall a year when George was all in on West Side Story.
I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I fess up to that.
Yeah.
Yep. And I respected that choice. And
I
the reason-
stand by it.
Yeah,
but
you
I
stand
was
by
wrong.
it.
I was all sorts of wrong. But
That's okay.
Best
You got swept
director.
up.
Again, Anatomy of a Fall. Killers of the Flower Moon.
oh yeah.
Martin Scorsese. Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan. Poor Things. Yorgos Lanthimos. Greek boy. And Zone of Interest. Jonathan Glazer. Okay. All the heat seems to be, Oppenheimer seems to have all the momentum. But on Oscar night, that can change. We've seen a lot of cases where Best Director and Best Picture are not one and the same.
Can I go first this
You
time?
can go first this time.
Marty.
Martin Scorsese?
I think
Killers
Marty's
of the
gonna
Flower
take it.
Moon.
Yep.
Okay, why?
Because I think out of all the, we'll talk about this later, but out of all the films, I think it was one of the more important films of the year, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a great movie.
And really, for him, I think it was a different type of movie than he has directed, a different type of directing than he has before, especially in the last few minutes, let's say. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody that hasn't seen it. How that movie concludes, it's like, wow, this is not Scorsese. This is Scorsese reacting to films of the last several years
Yeah.
that he's seen and liked.
And
Right, yeah.
and you're not spoiling anything, but you saw it before I did, and you mentioned that to me, and that intrigued me. So I got to admit, I was kind of waiting for it to see what you were talking about, and I completely and totally agree on that particular sentiment. Hope?
Well, so I want to just be clear that it's not necessarily what I would choose. I'm just what I think is going to win. Although in this case, I suppose, I would choose Greta Gerwig, and she's not a choice.
She's not a choice.
So I do think that Christopher Nolan is going to win this year for Oppenheimer. I think it's going to be one of those years where one film takes most of the top prizes, and I'm going to be happy about that. I thought the film was brilliant. I thought it was an amazing
Yes.
directing feat, and also, Christopher Nolan gets a lot of hate, which I can't fathom.
Solid as hell, man.
I'm a massive Nolan fan, going all the way back, and I'll just be happy to see him finally win an Oscar.
The old adage, success breeds contempt.
Yeah.
He's been very successful, and there's a lot of films that people think he should have gotten his due on, and he didn't.
Right.
So, so you're going to go with Christopher Nolan as well, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I loved Oppenheimer. I did. it was a tad shorter than Killers of the Flower Moon,
Yeah,
but
a
not
little
that much.
Not that much.
Not that
Yeah.
much. But I'm kind of I could be wrong. I'm probably going to be wrong. I think when we get Scorsese, I'm going with Martin again. A lot of people have told me that I'm tired of Scorsese. He's so self-indulgent. He's just distant and so forth. They're like no. What you're tired of is not wanting to sit through a 3.5-hour movie.
Right.
That's what you're tired of. You don't want to do that.
But that movie had all the feels for me. You know what I mean? It made me feel horrible. It made me feel hopeful. All these feelings came through.
And I don't think it dragged at all.
I don't think
That's
so
what it
either.
was. You
No.
look up and then it's an hour, 2 hours and 45 minutes, or whatever
did you
it
make
was.
a pick?
I'm picking Oppenheimer as well.
Okay.
Even though
Nolan as director?
Yes.
Okay.
And again, this is a category where all the nominees, but I totally agree. Greta Gerwig should be in there. That is just it's insane that she's not.
But I poses a question, since they have however many films that they say up to 10, they can do up to. They don't always nominate 10, but they can do up to 10 if they wanted to, right? Right. All right. Should they have as many directors nominated in the category?
No, I don't
No?
think so.
No.
No.
Then they shorten the list back up on the
No.
for picture.
No, I'm all right with it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
all right the way it is. But I thought that was almost a foregone conclusion that she would be nominated. So it was shocked that she was not.
Yeah, and a lot of times you'll say, "Oh, well, then who would you leave off?" Literally everyone. I would put her first, and then everybody else after. I
After
think that Barbie was a miraculous feat of direction. Yeah. The imagination that it took to come up with just the travel sequences from Barbie Land back to the regular land and back and forth. They are amazing. They're insanely good, but also the tone. The tone that she hits. People, I think it's hard to overestimate how tough it is to manage a comedic tone the whole way through with a cast that size to hit exactly the note she wanted, because it's not angry, but it's honest and fierce.
It's like up close magic. Almost after the movie, she's like, "You see, everybody learned something. It was a wonderful film." She did a great job. Yeah, she did
Fantastic. Yeah, and I think if we were going to, I think we wrote a blog about this. We probably would make room for her by taking out Anatomy of a Fall.
I would take out the holdovers as well. I would put her in before the holdovers as well. I think she's clearly better.
Because I think those two were more leaning on script over direct. Not that they were bad jobs.
No, they were
were
great.
not
They
at
were
all.
great.
Agree.
Yeah.
I agree with Anatomy of a
But
Fall.
it was
I think.
script first.
No.
Yeah, definitely.
Out.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I totally agree that Greta should have been in there as well.
She's young. She'll get another shot, I'm sure.
Oh, I think
she'll get another shot.
she's just starting.
She's just starting, man.
And that's why I voted for adapted screenplay, because those two, and they're married.
Yeah.
And they're married, Greta and Noah. I mean,
That's
how
a powerhouse
wonderful-
right there.
That's kind of like Hope and George. Yeah, same thing. Hope and George,
Kinda.
Yeah.
Greta and Noah. Yeah, I see it. I see the parallels. All right, so it'll be interesting to see. I think maybe it'll split, but you guys are probably right. All right, let's move on
Horses in these races, aren't there? There's too many horses in these races.
Oh
man.
yeah. All thoroughbreds.
Yeah.
No. Let's go with best supporting male actor in the mix. This one, I think this one's a lock. But, but at the same time,
We do too.
I am torn between the two Roberts. I thought Robert De Niro was freaking.
He was great.
One of the best things I've seen him do in 20 years.
Yep. It reminded you that he's Robert De Niro.
Right.
Yeah.
But then Robert Downey Jr.
Yep.
I didn't even recognize him in the first frame that he showed up in Oppenheimer. Like, who's it? Oh shit, that's Robert Downey Jr. for starters. And then throughout the film, he was great. So Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, Mark Ruffalo, Poor Things, and Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction.
All great. Again.
So great.
That's a tough category.
Stacked
So
group.
tough.
That's a tough category.
Mark Ruffalo is probably the weakest link myself.
Oh, see, that's who I would give it to.
I think his accent sucks so bad, dude.
He was. I thought he was just.
I did too. I did too. I thought, and
This isn't the
so-
first problem you're going to have with Poor Things from John Whitney. Let me just tell you that.
But also, I mean, I'm Ruffalo fan going way back. I think he's a great actor. I loved so much seeing him play so far out of what you expect from him, and just nailing it. I thought he was hilarious. First, I mean, he was the funniest thing in that movie, and it's a funny movie.
Yeah, it is.
He would get my vote. I don't think he has a shot at winning, but that's who I would vote for.
Yeah, I don't either. But again, all of them. Sterling K. Brown.
Oh my God, so great.
Tremendous.
So great.
I'm with you. I'm going with Robert Downey Jr. and especially after the SAG Awards the other night, I think it's maybe not the biggest lock of the night, but pretty close.
Yeah, I think he's going to win as well. Although I do want to point out, and Ryan Gosling was great.
Yes, he was.
He was so funny, and it's so uncommon for like an outright, undisputed comedic performance
Right.
to get acknowledged like this. Giamatti, it's a comedic role, but it's not really a comedy. The film itself, and he's got a lot more drama to him. But man, Gosling just came out firing as just the funniest role in that movie.
I don't think people appreciate how hard
Right.
it is
Yeah.
to be and perform do what he did
Yeah.
in Barbie and not come off as just silly.
Yeah.
Just an idiot.
I mean,
yeah.
it's he was
He's
amazing.
proven time again. He's not only a great dramatic actor, he's a great comedic actor.
He is a great
See
comedian.
the nice guys.
See the nice guys.
I mean,
Do
his
it now.
timing is spot on.
And his scream is hilarious.
It's hilarious. And he's going to. Did you hear? He's going to perform. I'm just
I
Ken.
did.
on the
Yes,
show.
I did
did
hear
That's
that.
going to be
hear
great.
that.
They said
$100 he's gonna have two pairs of sunglasses
They
on.
finally asked him. I mean, he's gonna sing on the Academy Awards.
His song.
Yeah, he's gonna sing. He's
Brian Gosling
Brian
is. He's
Gosling.
going to sing I'm
Brian
Just
Gosling.
Ken.
I'm just Ken.
He is.
Yeah, I didn't look at the category. Is I'm Just Ken nominated?
It is. There are
is.
like four
Yeah,
Barbie
A
songs.
lot
Yeah.
of Barbie songs
First-
are nominated.
First, they asked Adele Nazim, and then she couldn't do it.
couldn't
So
do
it's
it.
Ryan Gosling.
And he was
I love Robert Downey Jr. I thought years ago he should have won when he was Chaplin, when he was nominated for Chaplin.
Yeah.
And I love Chaplin's one of my favorite Robert Downey Jr. movies.
Yeah.
That and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and I liked Iron Man when it first came out. After that, the Marvel Universe. Yeah, I got inundated with it.
I'm gonna go with Downey. I'm gonna go with Robert Downey Jr. too.
Robert Downey
Yeah.
Jr. as well.
But I mean, I don't know. He couldn't. He could not win. I mean, Robert De Niro could win.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
I think
anybody.
he's my
could
dark
win.
horse. But I think.
Yeah.
But it's interesting in all the interviews I said how this mega star, and granted the Marvel universe kind of eclipsed everything he's done about how he had to reinvent himself.
Oh yeah, very much so.
And everybody forgets how good of an actor Robert Downey Jr. can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it that he was talking about? Nolan say, one more time. What did he say?
And put nothing on it.
Put nothing on
he
it.
said at the SAGs the other night. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's take one more and
more.
put nothing on it.
Oh.
Just dial it down a little.
A little.
All right. So we have a unanimous Robert
I
Downey
think
Jr.
so.
on this one.
Oh no, you
No,
said
no,
De
you
Niro.
said De Niro.
No. I said I love De Niro.
Oh,
but
okay.
I
I'm sorry.
loved. Yeah, but
I think it is
love De Niro,
unanimous
but I
then.
think
I
it's
think
Robert
it is
Downey
unanimous.
Jr.
But
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be Downey Jr. But I had to mention how just blown away I was with De Niro.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Agreed.
It was, like you said, a reminder because there's been so many films that he's just kind of walked
Oh,
through.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially he's done some comedies of the last few years that have been god awful, and then you get a movie like this. Not only a great character,
Oh,
a
yeah.
great character that he really sunk his teeth into.
Yeah.
very
Love to
much.
hate that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He made it look so easy.
he did.
I know.
Yeah.
Such a
I
sociopath.
didn't realize
Just
how awesome it was until he's like.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the only movie I watched, by the way. So.
Greg watched Kills the Flower Moon, and he was hoping that Napoleon would be in the next because he saw Napoleon.
You saw that one? Yeah.
Costumes, if you,
Yeah, costumes.
Oh my gosh! All right, best supporting female actor: Emily Blunt, Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks from Color Purple, which I did not see The Color Purple.
It's very good.
It is
Did not
good.
see The Color Purple. American Ferrara for Barbie, Jodie Foster, Nyad, and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. the momentum is all on her.
Oh, yeah. I think this is
And
the
this
lock.
This is
the
the
lock.
one. It's a lock,
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
I think we knew that 15 minutes into the holdover.
God, she's so good.
Yeah, she's pretty solid, man.
Oh,
She's so good.
Lord.
I mean, that movie comes down to pretty much 3 people, and
Yeah.
they are all
Yeah.
tremendous.
They are all
but
tremendous.
she's the soul of the
She
movie.
is, and it's you don't know when she's first in the film. She makes an impression, but you have no idea how deep we're going to get into that character. Until you're at a Christmas party and you're like, damn, she's
Right, no
good.
shit, yeah.
Right.
She just kills you.
She just gobbles it up.
She does.
So good.
And I think that's one of the, like I mentioned earlier, that's one of the things I love about that film is that like there's these little pieces that you don't think are going to be anything, and then they are planted and then they grow into something more as the film continues to move on.
Yeah, I think it can trick you into thinking it's just sort of a throwaway comedy.
Yes.
And it is absolutely not.
Right.
Okay.
Oh,
so
yeah. Yeah, I think that's...
she's a lock.
Yeah, I think
She's
so.
a lock.
Yeah.
And not to say that the other nominees aren't great.
No, they are.
no,
They're
they
great.
are.
All great.
Yeah,
They are.
I loved Jodie Foster in Naiad. I thought she was so fun.
Yeah, for a movie about... technically about someone else, she was able to make that movie just as much about her
Yeah, she
character.
was, yeah.
As Diana Nyad.
That's the one I didn't see. I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
She was very good.
It's on Netflix. It's really good. It's very interesting.
It's on my queue. I just
Yeah.
didn't
You know, and
remember all the
I'm
time.
glad to see Danielle Brooks get nominated because I like The Color Purple
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I know
The
it's
musical, right?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
'Cause
I thought they did a great job.
I
the
have
whole
to see
cast.
it. I have to see it because I love the movie The Color Purple, and I think maybe I didn't want to see it because I love the original film so much.
It's a different approach.
I understand that.
Obviously musically, but it's more joyous.
Joyous. It is.
It's everything about it is more joyous.
So,
And,
all of the heartbreak is still there, but it doesn't dwell exclusively on that.
Yeah, I thought it
which
was just
I
tremendous.
thought it made it seem sort of more well-rounded, and all of the performances are great.
Yep.
All right, let's stay with the ladies as we move into Best Female Actor.
Oh boy.
Okay. Annette Bening. We're just talking about Naiad.
Yeah.
Annette Bening. Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon. Sandra, how do you pronounce the 2 little dots?
Fuller.
Huller? Well, then why did they have to put the 2 little dots on there? That's the way I would have pronounced
Just
it if
to
the 2
trick
little
you.
dots were from Anatomy of a Fall. Casey Mulligan from Maestro. And Emma Stone. Poor things. I want to start with
with John.
Johnny this time because
got some feelings?
No, I hands down it's Gladstone.
Hands down. Ooh.
hands down Gladstone.
That's my feeling.
Okay.
Yeah, Lily's awesome. I love that movie. I love her, and I think she's a great actress, and she nailed it, man.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think that she's absolutely going to win.
Do you think it's hands down though?
I
Because
think
Hands
it's pretty
down?
close to hands down. Yes, I do. I
Okay.
think that
You don't think there
she's.
could be an upset with Emma Stone?
I think it's possible, yeah, but I don't see it happening. And one of the reasons, and George and I have talked about this, one of the reasons that I think it's possible that it could happen is that, and I don't want to, I think what Emma Stone did was miraculous, but it's a very showy, and it needed to be, but it's a very external performance, and so it's
eccentric,
easy.
I would put it. Yeah.
But I mean, it's all
Yeah.
outward, and so it's easy to hang on to. Whereas Lily Gladstone owns that movie, and it's entirely internal, and it's wholly internal. Everything she's thinking is on her face.
Oh yeah.
Because she can't say it, and it's heartbreaking. It's amazing, and I have no idea how it's done. I don't know how that is performed. I couldn't do what Emma Stone did, but I can see how it's done,
Sure.
and so I feel
Okay.
like, in a way, because it's easier to notice.
Yeah.
That might be how she gets it over Gladstone. And again, and I wouldn't be horrified by that because I think she was amazing. And I think that it's insane what Emma Stone managed to do, right? Because as you know, of course, they shot that movie out of sequence naturally. Sure. So the whole beginning, where she's like an infant, right, in an adult body, and the very end, where they shot that all together interchangeably. For her to go back and forth between those two, the beginning and end of that arc.
Right.
That's a stunning amount of talent for her to pull that off. So I don't want to sort of bypass that at all. But I think Lily Gladstone should and will.
yeah, I agree with all of that, and also just an extra nod for Sandra Huller because she was also in The Zone of Interest.
I
And
know. I noticed that. Yeah,
What
that's
a
true.
great-
And
man.
could easily have gotten
just talked about, so I'm going to say, yeah, it'll probably be her.
She's on Mark Maron just last week.
Oh, yeah?
I would suggest to listen to that.
Okay.
She is smart as a tack.
Oh, yeah,
don't
she
doubt
is.
it.
I don't
Yeah.
doubt that
Oh
for
my
a second.
God.
My
So
vote's for
smart.
Lily as well. And the only reason I went to you first is because you weren't crazy about Emma Stone in that movie. You said you weren't crazy about
Emma
her.
Stone?
Yeah. In Poor
Sometimes
Things.
eccentric performances, I feel it's eccentric. I didn't necessarily like that film at all either.
You didn't like the film in general.
Not in general. It's not in my top 3, let's put it that way.
Okay.
I think visually stunning.
Oh yeah.
It's going to win costume. It's going to win art direction, all that stuff. But
And you weren't intrigued with how it just you
I wasn't
thought you
blown
thought it
away.
was going to be this, and it turns out to be that.
I wasn't blown away.
All right.
It was our number 1 film of the year. We loved it. It was we gave it 5 stars. I think it's just and we're massive Lanthimos fans.
All his movies. And this one leapt right to the top.
Yeah.
Before, The Lobster was my number 1 of his movies, and now it's this.
Yeah.
I do like The Lobster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
All right.
Whatever he's doing, we want to see it.
Yeah.
Well, my wife and I saw The Lobster because we also saw this one, and I felt like I didn't like The Lobster that much because you're gonna think this is weird, but it felt like the script was written by someone who is high, like totally on weed.
Yeah, I can see that.
I love the
Felt
Lobster.
that way.
So I got to backtrack for a second because you're throwing all this love for Yorgos, but you didn't pick him as best director.
I'm not picking my favorite director. I'm picking the director that's going to win. I thought I was clear on this point.
You're clear about that. All right. But I thought maybe,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh no, I think
So,
I don't think.
So when Greta's out, now you're just going with the I'm in
know,
I'm in an
always-
Oscar pool choice.
This is my ballot. That's what I always do on here. It's never the one that not necessarily the one that I wish would win
Right.
or what my vote would be. I'm always this is my ballot.
okay. All right.
She's got integrity, Dino. Come on.
I would never in a million years question or doubt her integrity. All right. Let's move on to Best Male Actor. Bradley Cooper. I hate Bradley Cooper. Did I mention
Right here.
He's so talented. He's good looking. He can write. He can direct. And he can act. He's nominated for Maestro. Coleman Domingo for Rustin.
Oh,
So
glad.
great.
He was so great in that movie.
He was so great.
He's just great all the
He
time.
is great all the time. He's great in The Color
He
Purple.
elevates everything.
He does.
Yeah, he's in The Color Purple this year, and he's great.
And he's also doing. He's playing Joe Jackson in a
Yeah.
biopic. And he's playing Nat King Cole.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's
Well,
and
he's
I've-
got that smooth
I
voice.
always wanted to see a biopic about Nat King Cole.
Yeah,
He's
it'd
one
be-
of my favorite singers. But honestly, this Coleman Domingo, I saw him for the first time in Fear of the Walking Dead. That's the-
wow.
that's the
Oh, yeah,
first
no,
time
he's
I
a-
ever- that's
he-
the
you know-
first time I ever saw him.
No, that's not. There's no way.
Is
no.
it? Where
he's,
You
because
just
he's
haven't
been, yeah,
Where
you
did I
just
say it
didn't-
before?
He's one of the things
Or
about
maybe
him though
he came
is that
to light. Well,
he really physically transforms from one film to the next.
Maybe
he
that's
really
why.
does. But he was in Zola. He was so great in Zola.
He was in,
and he was in Candyman.
And Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Oh yeah, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
He's
Oh, I
been
saw
one
Ma
of,
Rainey. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been one of those guys
he
that
was
has
in-
just elevated everything in
Is it
smaller parts.
Euphoria? We've not seen it, but I think he was a
TV show
regular on the
Euphoria?
TV show Euphoria, but we've not seen it. But yeah, he's been around forever, and he really, you're right.
But
He's-
here he is this film.
Yeah.
And he owns it from frame.
he's in
one.
every scene.
Yeah, and I'm so glad he got a nomination.
Yeah,
'cause
he's so
he
great.
deserves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
for him.
So he's nominated. Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction. We talked out of the gate how so heavy stacked.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Category.
All-
Yeah. They all deserve an Oscar. I mean, they all do. All of them do.
Although I will say, if I were doing it, I would give, because I agree with you on Bradley Cooper. He's fantastic. I thought his directing job
Was better. than-
better.
Yes.
That was a masterfully directed
Yeah,
film.
it really was.
Really was.
It's
and,
another
and he
one
gives
where-
a great performance. He does. But man,
But,
it was a
I mean, the
director's
way
movie.
it's just every era in Bernstein's life has a new everything, has a new aspect ratio. It goes
yeah.
from black and white to color, has different music. Everything about it. It is. I mean,
way
the
shots
way
are
he
constructed.
thought through. I
Yeah.
know.
The scene with Snoopy out the
Oh,
window.
my
Are you
God.
kidding me?
I know. That was awesome.
Oh,
That
it
It was
was
glorious.
great.
Yeah, it's a tremendous. Yeah, that's another. I
But I
would love to
digress.
have seen him
Yeah.
That
nominated.
was one of
for
those moments in
directing
the
that.
movie
All right,
where
that's
I was like,
enough
going,
about
I
Bradley.
was going, that's fucking Snoopy.
Right? Oh my god, that was so good.
I think I know where that building is.
It's just a shame he was born with that face.
Yeah.
Poor
No,
guy.
I agree, and I think that I think he's got some even better work to come.
Oh,
in the
I
years to
definitely
come.
agree.
You know, and I think about comparatively, you know, Clint Eastwood, who was just this star, and then started to direct, and look at some of the amazing films that Clint Eastwood has made, and I think that you know, Bradley Cooper's going to start running kind of that parallel path and make something even more amazing in the years to come.
Well,
So-
he's already
Yeah.
he's racked up already a ton of nominations.
Yeah. Sure.
Just has, I think the only one he won was as a producer on a film, and I can't remember what it was.
Yeah,
But-
I can't either.
But yeah, he's got
He's
a lot
there.
of
He's
great
there.
work ahead. A lot of great work ahead.
Yeah, I hate him.
So who are the guys? Refresh our memories. Who?
All right, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Coleman Domingo. Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about Paul Giamatti yet.
Yeah.
Cillian
We will.
Murphy and Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction. So who do you pick?
I
You
think
can go with who you think will win and who you would want to win.
I love Jeffrey Wright, man. I don't know why I
He was
want him to
great.
win,
He was
So
great.
good.
but he was so solid in that movie.
and he's so great in everything.
Yeah,
He's another one. Every movie. He's,
Yeah.
It's
no
a
matter
hard
how
choice.
big the part.
All
It's
these
a hard
guys are
choice.
great.
And he's in
Yeah,
Rustin.
it's
He's
really
in
true.
Rustin as
He's in
well.
Rustin as well.
Yeah, yes.
I've always loved that guy.
I like him in that Jack Daniels commercial he did. Oh my God, that
He's
thing.
in. You're right, Chip. He's in a piece for Jack Daniels.
I
It's
cried.
Uncle Nearest, yeah.
Uncle Nearest. They talk about Uncle Nearest, the
right.
the slave who taught Jack
ex-slave.
Daniels, the ex-slave who taught to at the time.
Yes. Oh, that's right. He was.
At the time, I'm just quoting history. I wasn't
Yeah, it's
going
true.
down a.
Do you know this story?
I wasn't talking. I wasn't talking currently.
Well, we're getting off track here, Dino.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, it's who taught Jack Daniels how to make whiskey.
That's right.
So, and it's a great piece that Jeffrey Wright does. If you see it, whatever. So, yeah, Jeffrey Wright. Okay, who? I would have said Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer because I thought he was great, but then I saw Paul Giamatti, and again, maybe it's because I saw that most recently, you know, and I saw Oppenheimer when it first came out, and I thought he was great. So I'm gonna go dark horse and say Paul Giamatti.
Well, I'm going to agree with you because even though, I mean, if I were voting, I would vote for Cillian Murphy. And of course, he won the SAG the other night. So all indications are, but I'm just something, my gut just tells me Paul Giamatti. So I'm going to go with that. And that's where we differ.
It is. Although it would not make me sad to see Paul Giamatti win an Oscar because he should have at least 3 by now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is only the second time he's ever been nominated. The
Crazy.
only other time he's been nominated is for the one movie of his that I hate, Cinderella Man. I hate that movie with a passion. And so,
That's right. He was the corner man.
Is that
I
a Clint
forgot.
Eastwood movie?
No.
I'm thinking of
it's
the
a
other
Ron
movie.
Howard.
Ron
It's a
Howard.
Ron Howard, $1 Million Baby. I'm thinking of the boxing film. Okay.
I hate that one too.
But he didn't,
But he
do?
he
didn't get nominated for Sideways.
Didn't get nominated
or
for American Splendor.
Right.
And-
I love
Oh,
American
yeah.
Splendor.
Yeah.
American Splendor was
Forgot
awesome.
about
Oh, yeah,
that one.
amazing,
Right?
But-
Yeah.
And he's great in this movie. He's great in this movie, and it's a custom designed part for him. He nails it. It would not make me sad if he won because he should have one by now, and I loved him in this movie. My vote would be for Cillian Murphy, and also I think he's going to win.
Yeah.
And also just another thing, another mark for Giamatti. For what it's worth, he's been working the circuit, and he's been doing it very well.
Yeah, he's very charming.
Cillian Murphy is very reserved.
Yeah.
That's just his.
He's
you can tell
introverted,
he's
yeah.
uncomfortable with the attention.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
And it's funny how all those elements kind
I know,
of
it's too bad, but-
fall into the stream as to, like I said,
everything does.
if I was doing the Oscar pool, I would pick Cillian. But I personally, Paul Giamatti. And you know what? There's always like one scene, one moment that sways me and says, "There it is." And what do you think it is? You're looking at me like, what moment?
Oh,
could it
I'm
be?
waiting to see.
you're
I'm waiting to find out which
what
one it
the
is.
moment is, and he doesn't say a word. He doesn't say a word. It's when he emotionally thinks there might actually be a connection.
Oh, yeah.
At the Christmas party.
Yep. I know how it's gonna come, so.
And then when the boyfriend or the
We think that could be too, don't we?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
We're there.
Yeah,
we're
the
there.
audience
We're
thinks
right
that
in.
too,
Like
yeah.
you're like, come on, man, wake up. She digs you.
Yep.
I mean, I'm saying that when I'm like, and he's like, oh no, she would what? Not me. I have issues. I sweat. I also. And then when that happens,
Yeah.
that voice that wanted to come out loud and say, I'm such an idiot.
Yeah.
is quietly
Yeah.
expressed
Yeah.
in silence and in sadness, and I went, "Oh my god!
Yeah, we all did. Everybody. Oh,
Oh my god!" That's what won me over.
it's a good moment.
It is.
It's a good moment. Yeah, I don't know. I just have a gut feeling that I'm probably going to be wrong, but I just still even after Killian won the SAG, I still think there's something about the love for him this year. Whether it's a payback for previous,
Yeah. No, it's possible. I mean, I think it's definitely it's a close. I think it's a close race
I don't
between
like
the
when
two.
I don't like when the Oscars do that.
No, I don't either.
I
I
don't
don't like
either.
when they give somebody an award.
I don't either,
because
but they
don't
do
either.
it.
They do it all the time.
Like he was really good in this.
Yeah.
He should have won for this, so let's
Right.
give him for this.
Yeah.
They did
Like
with that.
Pacino winning for Seven
Pacino,
Women. Yeah.
Paul Newman.
Paul Newman, right?
Paul Newman, Color of Money,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
don't like when
no.
they do
They
that.
do
I
it
don't
though.
either.
Yeah.
No, and especially if it would mean to disregard what Cillian Murphy managed to do, because it's another. It's the same comparison.
Right.
It's a completely internal performance.
Yep.
Whereas Giamatti's is very outward. It's very showy and wonderful. But I thought Cillian Murphy was and the thing is also he always is. He's never ever not been good in something.
Right.
Right. No matter what you pick,
No.
no matter what you do in or TV shows, Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
And I'm sure what an emotionally draining.
Oh, I can't even
role
imagine.
for him to take on.
Yeah.
You can kind of see that too in the few interviews that he has done about it. You can tell, just the weight of the character.
Did he? But he's just like Bradley Cooper. He's just so homely. He's really unfortunate looking. That Cillian Murphy.
He's
too
too Why
Irish.
they even got into acting?
I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
He's too Irish. I don't know.
Okay, so let's refresh that category there for a second. Best actor, we're in this where like should win and will win. There might be two different things.
Yeah. I'm saying Giamatti will.
Giamatti will.
That's my
and,
vote.
And,
Yeah.
and should.
No, I would go for Cillian Murphy. But,
All right.
yeah.
Both. I've got
Both.
Cillian in both.
Yeah.
Should and will.
Whitney,
I would still love Jeffrey Wright, but
Jeffrey Wright,
Cillian
good
would
one.
probably win. Yeah.
and I'm going with Giamatti, both ways. But I'm wrong. I've been so my Oscar picks have been so bad over the last few years. I used to have something. I used to be like, oh man, I messed up like something minor. Like
You used to be somebody.
Yeah.
But Best Picture, here we go, the big one. And you kind of tipped your hand a little bit earlier, but that's okay. That's all right. The Holdovers, American Fiction, Zone of Interest, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Past Lives, Anatomy of a Fall, Maestro, and Killers of the Flower Moon. A lot of great films. All these films are great. I have not seen all these films. Okay, so I can't, but I can tell you out of the ones that I have seen, which ones that I like the best. So I'm gonna go again. It's not good. It doesn't have a prayer. The Holdovers.
I think it does have a prayer.
I do too.
I think
I
it
think it
does have a
does, yeah.
prayer.
It
There's a lot of
does?
love for Yes.
Yeah.
I think it does.
does, yeah.
I think it does have a prayer.
I say Killers.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer was awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to say
great.
Oppenheimer, but if there's an upset, it'll be the Holdovers. I
Yeah,
think.
I think
mean,
so.
it's
too.
gonna
Nobody
be-
agrees with me.
It's gonna be Oppenheimer. I mean, just when you look at the shit. Like I said, if I was filling out I want to be right and win, I would put Oppenheimer. But the Holdovers, and the fun fact that George shared with me the other night when we were at the film gathering was I did not know that the young man in that film, that was his first film.
Yeah.
The actor is
Sessa?
Dominic Sessa.
Dominic Sessa.
He was magnificent.
I don't even know where they found him.
No.
But I believe it's his first
Yeah.
credited acting gig. At
Yeah.
least on IMDb it is.
Wow.
So he might have been in a school play, but
Wow.
he was great.
Yeah. And I saw Giamatti talking about it. Somebody asked him, like what did he sort of try to share with this newbie, and he goes, nothing. I just watched and learned.
Wow.
I know.
And another great thing about that movie is the look of it. It nails
Oh, it does.
the time
It
stamp,
does.
did.
It really,
the look
really
of the
does,
movie.
yeah.
I mean, you're right back
Boston.
in the 70s.
Oh yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. I love when a director can do that very thing, and because I was channel surfing the other day and came across Far From Heaven,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, wow, I feel like I'm in 1959 every step of the way.
His films are like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Todd Haynes.
I love
Todd
Todd
Haynes,
Haynes so
so-
much.
But the same thing with the holdovers. I mean, it was right there, and I felt it, and like, oh, there's smoking, and
I know, right?
Well, even like the the title sequence,
Yeah.
the way they set up the
Yeah.
credits at the beginning of the movie,
Well, I
it
love
looked
the
like a movie that was made in the
Yeah.
70s.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the
Everything's
trailer
up front, right?
Yeah.
The trailer for the
Yes.
holdovers.
Yes, it looks like the 70s, yeah. Yeah.
It feels that way.
Yeah, it's
So, all right. So, interesting mix.
Yeah.
An interesting mix of stuff.
Yeah.
So, let's just go through it real quick one more time for those of you who may have forgotten. Best Picture,
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
A Flower Moon.
Holdovers. Best Actor,
Giamatti.
Giamatti.
Murphy.
Sorry,
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy.
Right.
Right. Best Actress or Best Female Actor?
Lily.
Lily. I think we're all Lily.
Agreed,
right?
yeah.
All right, we all agreed on Lily. Best Supporting Female Actor?
Divine Joy Randolph.
I think we're all agreed
Then
on
we're all
that as
agreed
well.
on
Yeah,
that.
we're all
That's a
agreed on
lot. Best Supporting Male Actor?
Downey.
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 I agree.
Downey. Best Director? Hope.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. Oppenheimer.
Yeah, Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
Scorsese.
I picked Scorsese as well. Original Screenplay?
I said Anatomy of a Fall. I went out on a little bit of a limb there.
Holdovers.
Holdovers?
I don't even know what I said. Where did I say?
I think you said American Fiction.
No, that's
No,
that's
I'm
adapted.
sorry.
That's
I'm
adapted.
sorry. Yep.
I don't. You know what, Johnny? I don't know if you actually picked one. I think it may have gotten away from you.
Maybe not. No. I don't. I won't vote then.
Abstain.
Abstain. I haven't thought about it. So.
Undecided.
An adapted screenplay. I think that's where you went with American Fiction.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's where I went.
yeah.
I think
That's where I
we
went.
both had American
Yeah.
Fiction for
And
that.
I went with Barbie.
What did I say? For adapted.
I think you said Anatomy of a Fall.
No, that
was
was
original.
Yeah. I forget what
Oh,
I
yeah.
said for adapted.
I do too.
What are the categories?
I said Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
I
you
said
said
that's
Oppenheimer.
right.
Yeah,
That's
I said
right.
Oppenheimer.
That's
Adapted.
Yeah.
And you said?
American Fiction.
American Fiction. That's one. Right out of the gate, we were like different opinions all the way around. All right. Well, this podcast, obviously, when you're watching it, it's probably dropping just days before the Academy Awards, so you can use this as research if you'd like to see to help make your Oscar picks. There seems to be some slam dunks as far as
Yes.
Oscar pools
think
go.
Yeah, a couple.
But maybe you'll eke out a win with a dark horse that comes in before it's all said and done. But before we go, I also want to ask Hope and George and get an update on a couple of things. First of all, congratulations. Obstacle Corps is just about everywhere you could see a horror film.
Thank
you.
you.
Right?
Thank you.
Streaming on various platforms.
Yeah, it's
How
like
many
every
now?
week we find out there's a new one that
Right.
we haven't heard of.
That's
But it's
right.
great to be on.
Where's
it.
our money?
Which tells me, like, I didn't realize there were that many
Yeah.
horror platforms to scream on.
Well, just regular old platforms.
Yeah.
You know, it's Vudu and Tubi and Plex and of course Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And,
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And some are obviously pay, some
Yeah.
are free with
Yeah,
ads.
Tubi's
So
free.
wherever you
Tubi's
choose
free.
to watch it, we thank you.
Yes.
Tubi's free, and also there's I was teasing you. I said, I remember an interview from way back. I said, "Are you anxious to get back behind the camera?" And you said, "Oh God, no."
No, I know.
And
But you did something.
but
We
you
did.
did
We're
a short. You
we're
did a
in-
short
We're in
film.
post production on a short, and it's like how a couple that knows they don't want to have children every once in a while will babysit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was like.
And the children in the
was a
film.
One day, right,
Hansberry's kids
we
in it,
did
right?
That's right.
That's right.
Hansberry's
That's
kids.
right.
And they're great.
They are great. They are great.
Are
they
both
did
of them in
a
it?
wonderful job. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
They did a wonderful job. They really, really did.
I just put my hands up and kind of let them go. I'm anxious to see what they did.
You know what was really cool about it, and we've talked about this when we've watched the different versions of it. They did it so many times, and they were a little stiff at first, and then you could just tell the
Yeah.
moment that it became natural, and they acted like kids, and it's great.
They got a little loosey goosey by the end.
Yeah.
And Nancy,
After a few drinks, that'll that's true.
After a couple cocktails and a few
No.
cigarettes, they were good to go.
Yeah, they're stars. Both of them are so good.
They
They're
are.
so cute.
Along with our neighbors from across the
That's
street,
right,
there are
yeah.
now I think they're all four best friends after that, but they're great.
Yeah,
So
I've watched Hansberry's kids grow up here over the last few years, so
Yeah.
I was really tickled to find out that they were in it and they did such a.
posted.
That's a good
Maybe
job.
not this month. Next month, maybe you're thinking.
at Gateway we were hoping for this, or no, we were hoping for March, but
No, well, so we get a big movie in our April Fright Club, and so we thought maybe we would show it then. But the truth is, also, actually, I'm helping to curate a series at Gateway, Women in Horror. So I may hang on to it and show it
All right, well,
then,
keep us
but
posted.
we'll let you
Well,
know.
definitely will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's about
What's the name of it?
people who don't
Basement
have
Buddy.
kids or
Basement Buddy?
babysitting a bunch of kids.
No,
that is a horror
no,
film,
no.
right?
No, that's not what it's about. That's not what it's about at all. But when you, it's for us as filmmakers, that's what it was like. It's like, one day we were like, oh yeah, we are never doing this again.
But
So it was like,
a short
yeah,
film. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
Well, we had you on before your book Roost.
Uh-huh.
Right, Rooster.
Yeah, Roost.
Not Rooster. Roost. And
Anyway,
she's in another.
it's a small little chunk of that.
It
more or
is,
less.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it is. It's a segment adapted from the book.
okay.
Yeah,
Called Basement Buddy.
yeah.
And you're gonna do that with because you're also in another anthology. You're short.
Oh yeah,
Short
yeah,
story.
that's right. Yeah, I have a short story called Meat.
Meat.
That's
Roost. Meat. I teased you on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I sense a trend.
Aggrieved. Yeah, I have a story
Yeah.
called Aggrieved. That's in another. That's in
one
another
word titles.
anthology. I know.
We're like, that's three. That's three.
That's funny.
But I have not read Meat, so I would like to read it. I'd like to get it.
Oh sure, yeah, it's very short. It's called Flash Fiction, and it's a cool anthology. It's called Flash of the Dead Requiem, and it's fully illustrated. So everything is a flash, so they're all like 1 to 2 pages, and then I've never been in anything that was illustrated before, and it's awesome.
So it's like a graphic novel. Oh, okay, good.
Awesome. Okay, I did not know that.
All right.
All right. Cool. Anything else out of the Hope and George vault?
No, we hope
that
to
needs
to
be?
get that rolling this summer, right? Film that this summer.
Yeah, I adapted Meat as a screenplay that George is going to direct this summer.
Now
Yeah.
that'll be another short. Or
Yeah, it's a
that'll be
short.
another
Yeah, it's a short.
Okay.
Yep.
All
Dip in
right.
the
Well,
toe,
you know, after you're gonna do 1 short, 2 short. You're gonna do maybe 3 shorts, and then you're gonna dig back into a feature. Something's gonna move you. Something's
don't
going
know.
to. Which
Huge commitment.
Yeah, huge commitment.
Huge commitment.
Yeah.
And our film Down to the Felt.
Yes.
So exciting.
We got our shooting budget a couple of weeks ago, so we're supposed to go in front of the camera
That's
starting
fantastic.
April 14th.
Nice.
Woo!
Yeah. Excited and scared to
Yeah.
freaking death because it's
gonna be amazing.
Well, we're excited for you.
what
We
the
really
challenge
are.
is.
This
Well,
is great.
You guys have been very supportive. I mean, we all support each other, right?
Yes.
We all support each other. That's the thing. So I am excited about it. We're currently, throwing out offers to leads, and there's so much I want to talk about, but I can't. But hoping that the right chips will fall in the
Yeah.
right places. But
Chip, see what you did there. I see what you did.
I didn't realize that.
Hopefully those
I didn't
chips,
realize that.
they'll fall down to the felt.
More about these things as we continue to see them, and I look forward to seeing the short film. Yeah.
It's cute. It's fun.
It's
yeah.
fun. Cool.
Horrifying.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's-
I keep saying it's cute. It's fun. We murder children in our basement.
Yes.
I mean, as far as you know.
As far as you know. It's a fantasy film.
All right, one last time on the business, boys. Could you remember some of it before it's all said and done?
Whiskey Business is the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. With Dino Tripodi.
Happy about it.
And John Whitney and Greg Hansberry and myself, Chip Cosell.
That's right.
And we're on Facebook and Instagram
Uh-huh.
and YouTube.
Yeah.
Catch all the unedited video on YouTube. That's the fun stuff.
Whiskey Business with Dina Strapodis.
That's right.
Smash that subscribe button.
Smash it.
There.
Ding that bell.
Ding, ding, ding.
That's
7 years. 7 years.
Yeah.
7 years. Chip added on in the last couple, but in total, he's been hanging around for at least 5. of the
absolutely.
7.
No
So
question.
7. 7 years.
It took a year or two for you to let him in. He was right. He was on the porch for the first couple of years.
That's true. On the radio.
In all sincerity,
You're also on. You are on.
what?
You are on Twitter, Dino Trip.
Yeah, but I can't remember. I
Doesn't remember his
I
password.
don't remember the password.
Yeah, he hasn't posted for a while.
Not long. I posted one thing fairly recently.
Oh, you did?
It's when I got a bunch of I got like 3 burial offers in the mail
Oh, my.
at one time, and like, do they
Like from a funeral home?
Yeah, like, do they know something I don't? You
They're
know?
just working off statistics. Don't pay any attention to that.
That's right.
Yeah. And I said in
Smoker.
the tweet, I go, I'm dead on the inside, but I hardly think that deserves a mailer.
Exactly.
Anyway, in all sincerity, this is one of my favorite podcasts of the year.
Same.
I love movies. I
Same.
love movies. I'm glad that we were able to work it out because it got a little tense there with our schedules. And I was like, oh, no.
I know.
I
I
know.
would've
We're not
said.
going to be able to do
No,
it.
we were going to make it work.
Yeah.
We made it work. So thank you so much. Hope, George, Johnny,
Yes.
thank you for cramming everything
Yeah,
in,
man.
Yeah.
I didn't get the Korean one in. I'm sorry.
Past lives.
Past
It's
lives.
good.
I
You
didn't
should
do
see
it. I didn't see it. I ran out of time.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's all right. Nobody's perfect.
It was like 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh shit, I've only seen 3 of these movies.
Oh no, and they're all 3 hours long.
Yeah. No, you did better than me, so thank you, man. Thank you. All right. Check out whiskeybusinesspod.com. That is our website, and you can go there and check out all the fun stuff that's on Whiskey Business that we do here on a regular basis for, like I said, the last 7 years. Chip, thanks for the benchmark. Bottled and Bond. The bond
Very good, by the
Thank
way.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very nice. And until the next bottle, see ya.